Are we on? There we go. There we go. Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the studio. I had to go get Kiba, but hopefully he'll stay with us today because he'll have the wheel all to himself. I'm going to be doing some glazing. We're going to be dunking some stuff in a bucket. And then once I get a good layer of one color on all of my pieces, I think then we'll unload the kilns. I've got the kilns open, but they're cooling down. Yeah, buddy. Where is my other, I've got like a measuring cup that I use to like pour the glaze with. And I've got one on the wheel here that I'm going to use, but I've got a bigger one. And Kiba likes this one sometimes because he likes to drink out of it because he thinks he's getting away with something. So I was going to give it to him. Want your great big measuring cup? There you go. Because sometimes when he's thirsty, he will either, or he wants something from me, he will either knock over an empty water bottle or he'll knock over one of my measuring cups because he wants water or he wants treats or whatever. I say that most of the time he's not vindictive. He doesn't knock things over just to get attention, but he does it strategically. I'm about to open up that bucket, okay? I'm actually going to bring this one over here. I was mixing this up. There we go. We can do that, and I'll have to move this over here. There we go. Now you can see the bucket, kind of. And occasionally you might see Kiba's tail. Now this glaze, it looks pink right now, doesn't it? It looks pink, but it is actually going to be a blue, which is why I have it in a blue bucket. It's going to be a bright cobalt blue, which is the color of the mana mugs. And that's what I'm going to be doing first. It is blue because it's made, the colorant is copper carbonate instead of... No, cobalt carbonate instead of cobalt oxide. Cobalt oxide is more concentrated and much darker, which so you use that to get black a lot of the times, but cobalt carbonate is less concentrated of a color, so in its dry form and wet form it looks pink. Good morning, everybody. Hey, Lassa. Hey, Zulu. Yeah, welcome back, everybody. It's been a little while. We've been really busy here. We been doing some glazing, finishing up some making of some of the pots, and then we've been cleaning them up, getting everything ready to go. But I thought I'd get started early this morning. Here we go. Can give us a foot over here. Now with these, I am not going to dunk these because I don't have enough glaze to dunk these, which sometimes you see me just dunk the entire mug in the bucket. And if I had a full bucket, I might do that. But what I'm going to do first with these is fill the inside and then dip the rim. And then once that dries a bit, I'm going to, once I do all 10 of these, I'm going to then dunk the bottom part. And what that does, like even if I had a full bucket, I still sometimes glaze pieces this way because it lets the inside and the top part dry out a little bit faster. Lets each side, the inside and the outside, dry out a little bit faster than if I submerge the entire thing. And then it helps it dry faster, that's all. I wish this was a little bit taller. I don't know if I want it like, I don't know if I want it 3 buckets high. Is that how Smurfs are, 3 buckets high? Is that what it is? I had like something stacked 3 buckets high over here, and I still do. And like Kiba, like he doesn't move, right? He doesn't move much, but when he sets his mind to it, he will. He climbed to the top of the 3 buckets so that he could like come and like swat at me, you know, where I was working. Where there's a will, there's a way. Leon, hello, and good morning. Getting started early today. So these are my mana mugs. I'm going to try to show them off here. So they are kind of like a short tankard shape, and you'll see them going through the slideshow. You can see the finished pieces because they're part of a set. They're the mana, health, and stamina potion bottle mug sets. And so you can see the color on there. It's going to be like a dark blue and a light blue. What I've been trying to do when I've been glazing so far is, or what I try to do when I have a big batch of stuff to glaze, is to pick just a couple of colors and do everything in that color. So I'm not like getting out every single color for every glaze. And so the kilns that we're going to unload are going to reflect that. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of green in there. I've got a little sharp spot in the bottom of this, so I'm going to take some sandpaper and try to get at it. Oh, Arm, you have the same thing happen when doing soaps. The color morphs. Greens tend to start out really nasty, often looking like pea soup or like baby poop, but then after the soap process is over, it becomes pretty. And see, green is one of those things in the glazes, like copper carbonate is pretty green when, you know, it's in its raw form. It's just, I guess, what you add with it to make it darker or lighter, because I know the jade green of the, well, the camera's covering it, of the seafoam over here, it looks very similar to, like, in its raw form to what it is when it's fired. It just gets shinier. And that's very uncommon with glazes. I'm doing doing the mana first because there's not that many of them here. Is that a Kiba cow kitty? It is. He has graced us with his presence because I have given him the wheel all to himself. See, he thinks he's getting away with something, and so he's staying. I don't know. I need to, like, figure out why he doesn't like the cat bed anymore. I need to wash it and see if that makes it better or worse, because usually what happens is when I wash all their bedding, like, they won't touch it for a few days. for some reason. They get mad at me. But now he's not, like, he doesn't even want to sit on it, so I gotta figure it out. But he's been spending the last couple of days behind the kiln. We've had our kilns going nonstop. We've been firing at least 2, if not 3 kilns a day. And so Kiba's been happy as he can be, just cuddled up next to the back wall and soaking in all the heat. I measured it at one point with one of the little temperature reader guns, and they the temperature of the concrete floor back there between both of the kilns when they've been on, you know, one after the other, is like 90 degrees. So that is the perfect Kiba roasting temperature. And sometimes your soap will change color because of the fragrances. Oh, I hadn't thought about that. Cause I didn't know. Do fragrances have color? The oils? Move that before he plays with it. Look, we got little toe beans over here. The star of today's show is going to be Kiba's toe beans. They blend in, so if you're not looking for it, you might miss it. Leon, I had not thought of that. Cats like the scent of their parents, and it could be that my scent's no longer on them, so washing it and then stick my apron, yeah. Well, we've had people send them things. Like, we have some pillows over here that are handmade, like hand crocheted pillows, and after I washed them, like, the Kiba would not touch it ever again. And so I jokingly said to the person that sent it, I need to send this back so you can have your dog wallow on it again, because that's probably the reason he loved it so much, because he was trying to make it smell like him. How long does it take to roast a Kiba at 90 degrees? He'll stay back there for a long time, and then he'll come out and like lay on a different part of the floor to cool off. He's never been one like the cold. Like, some cats like to sleep in a sink because it's cooler, or dogs even. But he's always preferred the warmth. Okay, I'm gonna see if this, if I have enough here to actually dunk these, or if I need to pour them on. So let's see. I have just barely. No, I need to do that because I didn't even get it over here. I would have just barely enough, but it might be easier just to pour them on rather than try to touch them up and risk missing a spot. Yeah. And then this is going to be layered with the sea spray, which is the same thing I use over the black to get the Starry Night up here, right there. Who does Kiba love more? Oh, I think if whoever's holding the treats is who Kiba loves more. Whoever is sitting down and willing to pet him. He loves everybody. Kiba, I don't know that he has a favorite. And that's one reason we like having him here as our door greeter, because he just loves everybody. And I'll say this again once the ad's over. Because he does. He loves people and he loves getting attention. He's super friendly and gentle, but he doesn't like other cats all that much. Like, if y'all remember, it took, what, almost 5 years for him and Minnie for him to get along with Minnie. Minnie was always friendly towards him. So who does Kiba love more, me or Hamster? I will say again, Kiba loves everybody, but he mostly loves whoever is willing to pet him and give him attention at the time. Like, you know how some cats will be, like, more loyal to the person who feeds them every day? Like, I can't even say that. Like, he'll accept food from anybody. He'll accept pets from anybody. And that's why he's here. That's why he's our door greeter, because he's an extremely friendly cat. And also, he's never been all that energetic, so it's a good type of cat to have in a pottery studio, you know. Even if I do splatter him with glaze every once in a while. Like, if you've watched when I'm throwing, you know, he likes to get on the wheel and he usually gets clay on his tail. Like, I had to show a video of me spinning him on the wheel to the people at the vet the last time I took him in, so they could know why his tail was covered in clay. Ooh, am I gonna get the belly? Oh. He's like, I don't have the energy to bite you right now, or I would. He'll bite me. He won't, well, I can't say he won't bite people coming in, but he will, like, bite me with more emphasis. Like, he will, when people come in, like, he will sit, if they don't pet him, he will sit there and scream. Like, he will meow because he's like, no, you're here to see me. why are you not paying attention to me? He'll follow people around. So I have to, like, if they really don't like cats, I have to move, have to get him out of the way because he's very demanding and full of himself. But, and he'll nip, like, if you're, somebody's, like, there's, like, I just saw this, like, because I've got a fan over there, I just saw this big clump of hair, like, float over and sink into there. So Kiba's doing his job. We got our 2% cat fluff in every piece. A truly benevolent king, yes. He, but he will get nippy, like, as if you are petting him a lot, someone's petting him, and then they pull away. He'll, like, either, like, swat at them to pull them back, or he'll, like, gently nip, but not usually bad. When Shanna Quilts was here, she came to visit, and Kiba bit her toe. So she has been blessed by the Emperor in person. So I just promise everyone that he's had all his shots. Kiba is very generous to let me work during what should be Kiba time. Right, right. Blacksmith Pop, hey, good morning. He's like, listen, woman, you gonna let me sleep, or are you gonna pet me? One or the other. There we go. All right, now I'm gonna move on to the black glaze, which is here. One of your sister's cats literally pulled your hand back towards them when you would stop petting. Oh yeah, yeah. They don't know how to use one claw to their best advantage. They're like, oh, just gonna stick one out there and threaten. Let's just hook you back in. Let's pull this back where we can see it a bit better. See if we can. Can't quite see his tail. There it is. Here we go. Make sure the most important thing is front and center, right? Now this one, I think I'm going to do the same thing. I think I'm just going to like do the inside and then the outside, so need to move my tongs. Wonder if I should have this up higher too, if it'll be different, be easier. I'm going to mix this up again. I had mixed it up a while ago, but I need to do it again to make sure it's all good. Yeah, and we caught Kiba like meowing at our neighbors the other day. Like it's been so nice this past week. It's really been the best week to fire the kilns because it's been in the 70s here and in the 80s, which is like cooler for this time of year. But we've let the cats outside in the morning, and Minnie goes and rubs in every weed, like rolls in every weed she can find. Oh, I missed a mana mug. Yeah, let me get this before I forget. But like Minnie will go and rub in every weed and be full of burrs that we have to pick out. But Kiba will go and like sit in front of our neighbor's door, like back door, and it's usually before they get there. So I guess he's there to greet them too. Like they are also his responsibility. And so we caught him doing that out there the other day. like yelling at them and as they came in to be being petted. Oh, yeah, have an extra shirt when you're visiting to leave for Kiba. Or just have an extra shirt so you can, so when Kiba leaves all the paw prints on it. Just clean this off. Kiba's not cared about that at all, so I'm going to pour that water out. Pour it over here. All right, let's do this one. Let's just do this real quick. Okay. I had forgotten one of the mana mugs over there, so I cleaned that off to do one mana mug, and then I just dipped it directly in the black again because I'm that good. Kiba's tail is doing cardio. That's how you know if he's really asleep or not, because he looks like he's pretty passed out, but he's not because of that tail. So all of the mugs that I'm doing here are going to get the one layer of black on them, and we're going to be doing the mugs that are the Starry Night, and then the Arizona Sunrise, which you can't really see either, and then the Bloody, which is at the very, very bottom, almost covered up by the cat bed, so you can't really see them there. But they are all glazes that start with a full base of solid black, and then get something on top of them that kind of changes color when you layer it. Here we go. Here's that other mana mug. Should have counted. So, do we have any Legend of Zelda fans in here? Because I have finally made some Zelda pots out of my little potion bottles. Your nephew is named Link? That's awesome. So, Yes, and Bruce Weasel, your potion bottle is in one of these groups. I don't know what stage it's at, but it's speaking of potion bottles, this is one of the potion bottles I made. This is the most recent game. This is the design for the most recent game, but I've made 3 different potion bottle like designs, and I was going to do them in 3 different colors, so I was wanting to get like thoughts on the colors. See, there's that one. Let me see. I've got some in the bisque. Just gonna grab this one and this one. This is the like the older version, like the oldest one. It'll have like, this will be a black stripe and this will be white, and then the color on this one like is either like gray or brown. I think I'm gonna make it gray. And then this one is the like a blue one. It's blue with a white squiggle on it. So I made these 3 to have as options, and I'm gonna sell them as a gift set. In the sets of 3. Individually too, but I'm gonna make some gift sets. We're gonna have them at Gen Con. So do you think it matters really, like the color? So on this one, like it's a reddish brown color, and I'm gonna probably make it the solid iron color, like something I've got over here if I can get to it without like dumping things out, like this color. So it's gonna be the brown color there. And then the like the designs are just going to be like the color of the clay. Your sister did a Zelda woodburnt design on a round box for you that you use for your dice. Oh, nice. Was it like like one of the pot designs, or just like the Zelda symbols? And then like, so brown and then like gray for this one, and then blue for this one. That way they'll all be different. But I thought it'd be fun. I'm still looking if I'll get candy in time now, but I was looking for like gemstone candy that I could like put on the inside of them, because I thought that would be fun and cute. But that's something new that I've made. So we'll see those processed in the next week. Oh, it was a load of different things into one big design. Yeah. The other thing we've made, it may or may not be on the website. It was at one point, like the travel mug specifically, that has on one side it says, "It's dangerous to go alone. Take this." And on the other side, it's a sword. Very, all very pixelated. We'll probably make some of those for Dragon Con, but definitely for TwitchCon. Yeah, you crocheted a mini Triforce for your nephew's first Christmas. Nice. So I've got, I think, 115 or so of these to do. So we'll see how many we can get out of this, like, a third of a bucket here. Excuse me. Ooh. Hopefully that cough was during the ad break. Yes, once I get them processed and take pictures of them, we will put them online with the other potion bottles, but you can always email me because if you want one of the first ones, or especially if you want it to be a specific color. Because they're not glazed yet. Weasel, which one do you think is going to be the most popular? Do you think it's going to, are fans of the game like I know like each game has its own specific design, and so I just picked 3 that I thought, resembled the potion bottles. Do you think people would recognize them, or do you think like I have to explain that they're Zelda potion bottles? Well, the tail's still twitching a little bit. He's not quite out. Lasagna. That's what we're gonna call Lassa from now on, is lasagna. You think people would recognize the classics, but the most recent one might sell better. That's why I'm gonna put at least some of them in a 3-piece set, so that like you can have all of them. Anyway, I made 6 of each of them, so if I end up with like only selling the 6 that are the most recent, that'll be all right too. You can't even eat lasagna. Oh no. Well, now, I was trying to think, was there a Weird Al song named Lasagna? What was it? There's a lot of really good Weird Al songs based on food. And so I was gonna say there's a lot of really important things that happened this weekend, but the most important was that Weird Al released a new song. That's what I was looking forward to this weekend. That's what I thought would be the big thing that happened this weekend. But did anybody else listen to Weird Al's new song? His new polka. It's the first ever time he's sampled a Disney song. La Bamba. There we go. It was okay. It was lasagna. I was like, I thought it was, but maybe I was just second guessing myself. Yeah, no. Bruce Weasel, like Daniel said the same thing, like that the most current one when I asked him was going to be the bestseller. But I've made them. Oh, I'm not a true fan. That's right. Because Daniel had to tell me the song was coming out. Oh, Kiba's about to roll over. He's getting comfy. I'm pretty sure Minnie's outside rolling in the weeds. He's snoring. Look at that face. Can't get much further away. It's a shame we don't have any comfy spots for this cat to lay his poor head. Cow from all angles. Is that appropriate? Well, there's one camera where he's still not in. He's not in our face cam. Hey, just be grateful. You're not seeing a close-up of his butthole. Yeah, like talking about dieting, like sugar is one of the hardest things for me to stop. But like once I do get it out of my system, like it's amazing how much different things taste when you're not like don't have a lot of sugar there. Everything else starts to taste. You start to taste the natural sugars and everything. Hey, buddy. Man, hello. Okay, we need to say a few more things to get that off the text to speech to make sure there's something else up there. Okay. So everybody, we are live in the gallery in Nashville. And that was Wonder Hamster's oh so gentle reminder to watch what we say. There's a lot of sugar-free options nowadays. There are, yes. Like I've even I've got a recipe that I've made several times now that it is for like roasted peanuts or any type of nuts. I use mixed nuts, and they and instead of like sugar, you use just like Splenda and cinnamon or any other spices, and roast them, coat them, and roast them, and it is really, really good. The only difference in cooking is that like Splenda or some of the sugar substitutes don't crystallize like sugar is, and I actually kind of like it better because it's not like a hard candy shell coating. It's just like some like sweet and salty coated peanuts, and so it's like they're not sticky, but they're also they're softer. So I like the texture on it. So but I drink mostly sugar-free drinks anyway. I prefer to eat my sugar rather than drink it. You like Steva over Splenda, but Sam prefers Splenda, so you buy both. Yeah, yeah. I've heard that some people think it has a funny aftertaste. What is sweet and low sucralose? I think that's what it is, maybe. But that's the one I don't like as much. But that's the one that was around forever. But I'm also that anomaly. I'm in the South, and I don't like sweet tea because growing up, like we drank some sweet tea. I remember drinking sweet tea, so I can drink it. It's not my favorite. But my mother tried to get off of it, and so we just quit drinking. Like, she quit making sweet tea and just added a little bit of, you know, like sweetener to it, just to sweeten it just a tiny bit. So I just got into the habit of drinking unsweet tea. Yes, Lassa, I love zero sugar stuff. Like, they've got the zero sugar root beer, the A&W root beer is one of my favorites. What are you doing, buddy? Here we go. Let me help you. Come on. There you go. Hey, look, I've got more space. Anybody want to swing their sword? Lassa, is your sword rusty? Do you need to sharpen it a bit? Thank you, Lassa. Oh, that's a good emote. Spam calls. Well, hey, Minnie. What are you doing? Besides being covered in burrs. Come on. Oof. Come on. What's your favorite? The zero sugar Dr. Pepper? Strawberries and cream, yeah. You're not supposed to have sodas yet, but that one gets you, yeah. I get a, they do like Coke Zero Vanilla and Coke Zero Cherry, and you can mix those together. It's really good. I don't need all these burrs in my glaze bucket. She has just been rolling in the weeds. Just hope one of them's not poison ivy. Where are you going? There you go. And she's very careful. I've got stuff everywhere over here. Yeah, you're okay. You're doing good. Nope. She's not interested in staying. Really? Slush Puppies have started releasing sugar-free sodas. Oh. See, when I think of, like, Slush Puppies, I think of an icy. That's what I think of. I'm like, sugar-free ices? Oh, they do lots of stuff, like candy and everything. Nice. So I've made this couple set for Game of Thrones, and this one you probably can't see it much anymore because I put glaze over it. But this one says, well, now we're back. Are we back now? Where's this? This is my one of the couple sets that we've done. This one is from Game of Thrones specifically. There we go. This one says My Sun and Stars, and this one is Moon of My Life. It's Khaleesi and Khal Drogo. I've got burrs from holding Minnie stuck to my shirt. But I made it for Game of Thrones. But it's become a pretty steady, just like popular couples item. I guess because it doesn't have to be. It's not strictly associated with Game of Thrones. It could be just regular. It's one of those pieces I thought might not be popular after a while, but it stayed pretty consistent. Lastly, you're not supposed to have the caffeine. I wonder why. Is it just because caffeine makes things move faster? Maybe? I don't know. Wonder why. Yeah, but I doubt you're chugging back like a case a day of stuff. Are you allowed to have coffee? It's like there's probably a difference in having like one Coke and having like 12. Dehydration, gotcha. Yeah. See, I always wondered about that. I've heard different things. That like coffee will dehydrate you, but also like people have said it's got water in it. It's just, so drinking coffee is, you're still drinking something. But when I'm thirsty, I generally want water, not something even like a Coke or even a Gatorade. You get plenty of water. You do your 64 ounces a day, so you're not worried, yeah. Oh, the carbonation is what they worry about with the Cokes. Yeah, like I don't tend to drink Cokes fast either, and that's really because I just don't like the carbonation. I usually let it go flat for a little bit before I drink it. Daniel always said I would probably like those soda machines that were popular where you could make your own sodas at home or whatever, buy the different flavors, because the biggest complaint about them is that they go flat really quickly. You were drinking 3 to 4 cans of soda a day. Now you primarily drink water. My primary drinks in here, like I have some of the like my sugar-free root beers, but I do unsweet tea, and then I do water and Propel, and usually have my one big iced coffee, which is what I'm drinking on now. Yeah, your main concern was the sugar content of the drinks. Yeah, that's why I say I prefer to eat my sugar rather than drink it. Like if I have to make a decision and I'm gonna splurge on something, I'm like, okay, it's probably gonna be a baked good. It's not gonna be a sugary drink. Like when we get together for family gatherings, like it is very common for everybody to ask what's for dessert, so we know how much of the regular good food to eat, like so we can pace ourselves, so we make sure we have enough left for dessert. Oh, that's syrups. Ooh, because I've been wondering like what type of syrups that Sonic uses, because I use a lot of their like sugar-free ones. Ooh. Now I'm looking at this. Sugar-free salted caramel. Sauces, coffee syrups. Because I'm picky about my vanilla. Like, some of the, like, vanilla flavorings that are out there just, like, taste funny. Almost missed the cup on that one. I have been pouring and not paid attention and just, like, poured it directly on my foot. Yeah, last I see that you make your fancy iced coffees at home now. Yeah, that's what I've been doing, but I've been buying the like sugar-free Coffee Mate stuff, the zero sugar. Oh yeah, Arm, as an experiment, you looked up the sugar content of a can of Coke and weighed it out and put that amount in a similar container, and the content is like 2/3 full of sugar. Yeah, yeah. It really can open your eyes when you look into stuff like that, or you watch how things are made. You know, watch people like a things making them at a factory, where you see how many like bags and bags and bags of sugar they put into everything, or corn syrup. Or even remember one time opening, like, it was an eye-opening experience when I started like trying to make my own like Christmas candies that like, you know, everybody you see being made all the time, make fudge and different toffees and stuff, and I'm like, is that really all this is? It's just butter and sugar? Really? That's it? Like, how am I alive? You know? No wonder I liked it so much as a kid. No coffee. Oh, no Coffee Mate there. It made your stomach hurt. Gotcha. Do you use cream at all, or just your flavorings? I wonder if they have sample bottles. They do. They have like a mini bottle. Hazelnut. Vanilla bean versus French vanilla. I need to see which one I like. I'm thinking vanilla bean is what I should get versus French vanilla. Oh, you do milk and coffee. Gotcha. Just plain milk. Okay, you bought the vanilla 2-pack, just regular like vanilla bean. It won't let me open it just yet. Red, what a fancy mug. Is it this one or the one I had up here last? Well, there's that one. These mugs are going to be the same color as the water bowl over here, if we can maybe clean it off a little bit. They're going to be this the blue and the black combo. And now we got an ad break. Woo. There we go. Hey, look, there it is again. You can see the finished version of these mugs by going to the website. You can see all the different mugs by going to the website, seeing them in all the different colors. But to see these, you would have to go in and search for the word misbehave. Okay, I think these are the last of the Starry Night or solid black ones. Others are going to be like either bloody or the sunrise color. Well, now that we don't have a cat here, we can raise this up a bit so you can see all the different colors. There we go. You can see most of them anyway. So all of these are going to be this top color up here, the black and blue. Or this one specifically is just going to be black. It's the Harry Potter Marauders map. I'll solemnly swear I'm up to no good. Then on the other side it says mischief managed. Now this one is going to be the same black, but it's going to have red on top of it. Whew. I guess it is lunchtime. I can smell our neighbor like starting to cook. We're right next to our restaurant. I smell hamburgers. Or at least a grill warming up. Maybe that's where Kiba is. Now this one is our Elvish script. You can see the Elvish script is on there. It's actually raised on the surface of the mug, so that when I do like glaze the entire thing, it sticks out a little bit. It looks like it's kind of, you know, glowing or bursting through the mug. So red, so I am glazing these right now. That's what I'm doing. That's what this is. What's in the bucket here, this color is the glaze. And once it goes through the kiln, once these go through the kiln, the color will change. Like a lot of the ones I was doing will end up being this blue and black color over here. And I might be able to get an example of a red and black one. I may have one over here. Let me see. Yeah, so like the ones I've just been doing, the black, what's in the bucket here is going to be this glossy black color, and then I'm going to put red around the rim and let it run, so that it, like, I call this glaze bloody, because why not, and but that's what they're going to look like. The sample is like back here in the bottom, like, no, right there, on the very bottom left, so you can't see it that well, unless you know what it is, but that's what these are going to look like. Yeah, so these guys have been fired once already, so we make them, we let them dry out. Like, so these potion bottles have not been fired, and you can kind of see, you can see the color difference, or I can. Maybe you can't right here, but this it looks a little bit darker. But it's not been fired, and if those were to get wet, they would dissolve. So those, the clay is completely water soluble, which is what lets us recycle it so much, but when you're wanting to glaze something and decorate it, it makes it a little bit tricky, because you don't want to, you know, destroy the pot by trying to decorate it. So we fire them to a lower temperature, so that they're no longer water soluble, but they're still porous, so I can glaze them. The glaze will soak in and stick a little bit long enough for us to put it back in the kiln and fire it hot enough to melt everything. And that's also kind of shows you the size difference. So the pots shrink in the glaze firing, because what actually happens is, like we say, it's easy to see how the glazes melt. They become nice and shiny, you know, like you're used to seeing on pottery. That's because there's glass in them. So when it melts, it becomes glassy and shiny. But the clay itself also shrinks and melts, and so because it's porous right now, that's because all of the impurities that are in the clay burn out, leaving holes. When it starts to melt, it fills in all those holes and shrinks a little bit. So the more impurities you have in the clay body, the more it's going to shrink and change. So I have to make everything a little bit bigger than what I need it to be. It is not paint at all. The glaze is a mixture of clay and glass and different colorants. Like the colors on these are made by metal oxides on some of them. So cobalt oxide, and you can have copper oxide. I use copper carbonate usually for the greens and stuff. But so that's why it looks like gray now, but it's going to be black. Or we had one earlier that was this one. Like, it's pink right now, but it's going to be blue. It's going to be a really dark blue because we're using cobalt carbonate, which is pink in its dry form. So yeah, it's not paint at all. Like, this is the glass and the clay particles and the colorants suspended in water. They are just sitting on the surface. It's very easy for them to like be chipped off, so I have to be careful how I hold these. Yes, I can move these over here. But yeah, this is not set at all until we put it through the kiln. So on the positive side, like if I accidentally glaze something the wrong color, or if I'm only trying to glaze half of something and I drop it in the bucket, I can wipe it off. And start over again if I need to. It's, you know, it's a waste of product, but it's better than having to completely start over again. It's kind of like with the clay. Like, as long as it's not been fired, I can reuse the clay over and over. So if something breaks, it still hurts sometimes because you put a lot of time into it, but at least you can reuse the materials. Yeah, when I'm doing the travel mugs, I have to measure them because of the shrinkage. I have to measure them within like a couple of millimeters, which I've gotten pretty good at. So, and I had to calculate how much bigger I needed it to be, but to account for the 12% shrinkage. But You know, it's all that math and chemistry they say that artists never are going to do. You don't need that. It's like a huge pet peeve of mine. Like don't tell me artists don't need that. It's just another way of people telling us that art is not worthy of our time and resources. Meow? Meow? Is that how you say it? Good afternoon, good morning. Good morning, I can still say good morning. You had a witch hat luminary you were making in class, and the first time the kiln assistant broke it. Oh no, when trying to put it in the kiln, and the second time it broke by drying too quickly. Yes, that happens. It is so frustrating. I said it right, good. I would rather ask and be corrected than like get on somebody's nerves by saying it wrong. Yeah, that's probably one of the more elaborate things I had to like figure out. I think like people who do deal with fabric and quilting do it a lot more, but I had to make like a witch's hat as a lid for something. I made a bowl, a yarn bowl that was like a witch's face, and then they wanted a bowl that was a hat, and it was one of those things where like people ask me to do custom things all the time, and I will quote them a price, and then you know they think about it or they run away, you know, because you never know. But I always try to like at least to take every inquiry seriously, but of course they said okay, let me send you a payment. I'm like, crap, now I've got to make this thing. And, yeah, I never think that people are going to be serious sometimes when they ask for something out of the ordinary like that. But I ended up making it. It ended up looking really good. It's been several years ago now, but the pictures of it are on Instagram, and but I had to make this witch's hat, but I had to like get out my like geometry, like I had to look up my geometry formulas to figure out how much clay I needed to use to make this to get the shape that I wanted. So I'm wondering if you did the same thing. Did you like make it out like a pattern, or did you just make it like a pinch pot and just kind of add a little bit as you were going? You used a foam cone. That's a good idea. But you're sweating when trying to get it out. Yeah, when it sticks or when it shrinks. All right, Lassa. What's for lunch? We had a couple of rough spots on this one. Normally we try to like smooth these things out beforehand, but you can, if we miss one, you can sand it down. Here we go. Quesadillas. Mm. You did slabs around a foam cone and then cut the brim about the size of a bat. Okay, yeah. You made a smaller version as an incense burner too. We had the D20 dice on our 20-ounce mugs, and so we put the D10 dice on the 10-ounce mugs because we're that kind of nerdy. Vampire Ice Queen, whoa, is that 93 months? Thank you so much. Thank you for supporting the studio for 93 months in a row. Thanks for helping us keep the cats in kibble for so long. I wish one of them was here to properly thank you. For the writing, is this slip trailed? No. So, for like this one, was a logo mug. You can see how it's shiny. It's the same shiny black as the glaze. All of the medallions are an impression made with a rubber stamp. We make our own rubber stamps too, so that's how we can do so many different custom designs, is because we make them ourselves. And then we press the stamp into the clay onto a very thin medallion that you can see kind of sticking off of the mug. And on this one, you can see it even better on the edge there. And then we apply them to the mugs when they're still wet and still soft. We fill them in with glaze, and then the black, a watered down version of the black glaze, and then wax the front, because not all of the mugs are going to be black. Put wax over it so the design doesn't get wiped away, and then glaze the outside of the mug. You've been making stamps with your 3D printer. Yes, we etch them into rubber. So what type of stamps have you been making? Or have you been making like resin stamps that are flexible, or are you making some that are rigid? Because they're stamps for different purposes. Like if you're using them for paper, you probably want them to be more rigid. If you're actually like making doing printing, I don't know. But for me, I needed some that were a little bit, have made a deeper of an impression, and also that were not beveled, and that are kind of movable. It's like have a couple over here. I don't know if I still have them. Show you an example of them. Because I used to buy some of the, you could buy unmounted rubber stamps and get them custom made, but the edges were beveled with whatever they used to cut them with, and so it just didn't make, it didn't leave a lot of room for detail. Rigid like a cookie cutter. Yeah, this is one that was just a random custom one. So you can see it's just the etched into the rubber. Alright, now the last ones here are going to be still solid black, but then they're going to get, they're going to be purple on the top. So it's going to be the Arizona sunrise that's right here, if you can see it that well, but it's like a pinkish purple over the black. All right, once I get all these with these halfway glazed, we'll see if we have enough glaze to do the other half. Or if we have to mix up a bucket halfway through. I can get, I've counted it one time, and I can get around 250 pieces, like mug to bowl size pieces out of one bucket of glaze. And these are some that are going to our neighbor, the Flying Pig Coffee Shop. Thought I had one that was the color of the Arizona sunrise, but it's got like clay all over it. So this is the color that some of these are going to end up being, the kind of purplish pink over black. I just like I went like that, and I was just looking to see if I like smeared anything across my face. It's like working with stuff when I've always got things on my hands. Oh yeah, you learn not to touch your face too much. Reminds me of working food service, where if you touch your face, you got to go wash your hands. Push your glasses up with the back of your hand. Or learn how to do the nose wiggle. This one is for some of our Princess Bride fans out there. It says, "Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. You touch my drink, prepare to die." You tried to get your husband to take a ceramics class with you, and he chose a wheel throwing class, but he hates having stuff on his hands. Oh no, yeah. You just got to get used to it. For me, it's not that bad when everything is wet. Like for wheel throwing, once you get your hands wet, it's fine. It's just like when they start to dry and everything gets kind of crispy and it gets itchy. He didn't like the teacher. Yeah, that makes a huge difference. So once classes start back up, he's going to come to do the hand building class. That's a good place to start anyway. I know in all the different pottery classes I've taken, like if you're taking a course, they make you do hand building first. And the classes I've done here, I've done a couple of like longer, like 6 to 8 week course classes. But when I would do, but what people wanted was just like a one-time get your hands dirty class. And so I learned to do a little bit of everything, like hand building, wheel throwing, and like slab building and pinch pot stuff. Just showing them how to make a lot of different things because everybody wants to do wheel throwing because they see it and it looks really cool, but like. It gets very discouraging when you try it for the first time and you're surprised that it's so hard. All right, I think everything has the inside layer of black. So I'm gonna go back here where I started and we're gonna glaze the outside. Now I don't have enough to like actually dunk everything, so I'm gonna do this like I did with the mana mugs. And that's it. Let that dry, and by the time I get around to all of the other ones, we are going to have, if we have enough glaze to do all that, we will, then I'll be able to come back, start over again, and do the next layer, which is the blue that's on top. Like these will get, like they got this black layer, and then they will get 2 layers of that blue on top. It's actually green by itself, but it'll be blue once it's, once it's been fired. When you get your house, you're getting a wheel for yourself and eventually a kiln. Nice. That's what we did. Minnie. Oh, there she is. Okay, I thought maybe she was coming in from outside. She hasn't brought us a lizard in a while. I guess all the lizards have gotten smart and they know where better to hide. Or maybe she's just too old and dignified for lizards now. Meow, thank you for the sub. Now you don't have to see that pesky ad anymore. But thank you and welcome to the Muddy Buddies. So many food ads. I guess it is lunchtime. That's funny. But yeah, like you say, when you get a house, you want to get a place for like a wheel and a kiln. That's exactly what we did. When we were looking for a house, we looked for a place that we were looking specifically at places that either had a like a shed or a big garage. And what we found our house has a 2.5 car garage, and it was like set up. Whoever like had the house before us like was a woodworker, because they had like cabinets and shelves. They had a workshop in the garage that I just took over. We say our garage is like bigger than our apartment was that we moved out of. But that's where I started making stuff. When we outgrew it, we've been in this building now for 10 years. Yeah, and I will say, like, you can, like, it's harder to find like good deals on used pottery wheels anymore, but even a used pottery wheel, even if it's a little bit more expensive, if it's cheaper than brand new, it's like worth it. Most pottery wheels are good. You just have to keep an eye out for those cheap ones that you see on Amazon now, because they are usually crap. They're going to be a glorified banding wheel. So if you see somebody selling one for $50, like, beware. But if you find one for like you know, one of the, like a Brent or a Speedball or a you know, like this one is a Creative Industries that I have. If you find one of those, like, grab it, because they are good. But you'll be able to find like really good deals on kilns, especially if they're bigger. Like if you have your own place and you can wire them, have them wired into your electric box, they will be cheaper. And it seems odd, but like the bigger the kiln, the cheaper it usually is going to be, because if you have, the key is having space for a kiln. That's why I've gotten a couple of the big ovals like super cheap, because they were just big and not everybody has room for them. And it may take longer to fill them up, but you know, just depends on what you want to do. But there's deals out there. Yeah, if it's been your favorite hobby, and if you're already like you've been taking classes and you've like know kind of what you're wanting to do, then that's perfect. I always kind of steer people away from just buying a bunch of stuff when they've never even taken a class. Because that's when I come in and like they sell stuff to me, because I don't know how many, like almost everything in here that I've bought has been secondhand. The only thing I did not get secondhand was my pug mill, and but I did get it refurbished. But everything else has been secondhand, where people like sometimes it's like people are like, oh, I just bought this because I wanted to try it and then decided I didn't want to or couldn't do it anymore, so. Classes are important because stuff is so expensive, and it's so much better to like take a class and use other people's equipment, because you have access to everything until you decide what you want to do, because not everybody wants to do stuff on the wheel. Like everybody like thinks that's what they want to do, so they'll buy a pottery wheel and then they realize, you know, I like hand building better. I'd really rather just do slab building, and then I'm going to try not to sound derogatory, but like because of the pandemic, like so many places had to shut down. They could not do in-person classes, and doing pottery is something that really, you know, the part of the doing the class is using someone else's equipment and coming and doing it in person. So it hurt a lot of places like that, but it also spiked the cost of pottery wheels and equipment because everybody that was taking a class decided this is the perfect time to buy my own. And so that they were like, the pottery wheel manufacturers were like so behind for so long. And it spiked the cost of a lot of the like used wheels. But now, a couple years later, if you look around, there's an awful lot of pottery wheels, like used pottery wheels being sold that have never been used because people are like, oh, I want to do this at home, and then never do. So oh yeah, yeah, and all the classes are usually with retired ladies, and y'all just share everything, and you know techniques they don't, and they learn from you, and you probably learn from them. Yeah, and it's a great community, and that is something that is invaluable too. That's one thing that I think Twitch has provided for a lot of people, and especially for me because you know, I'm usually here just by myself. It's me and the cats, and so it has given me that, like, the sense of a creative community like I had when I was in school, or when you would take classes. You have people to bounce ideas off of and kind of to share energy with, and that's kind of one of the best things I think about like Twitch's creative channel, because we don't all have to be doing the same thing, but we're all being creative and sharing that creative energy. Hold it like this. What is that? You're at the point where if you make something too big for the kilns, they have one of the teachers that will just take it, fire it in one of the big refrigerator style door kilns, and bring it back without any extra fees. That's nice, yeah. But I'm sure you've also had things happen where like you know, someone else breaks it because you have to go through so many people to get it there. When you have your own equipment, then at least if it breaks, you're going to be the one to break it. You don't have to like worry about somebody else breaking it. There's a few less steps to the process. And another thing I will say that I found out when setting up all my own stuff, you know, there's some things I knew, but there was a big learning curve with learning about how to, you know, change out my elements in the kiln, kiln maintenance, or, you know, figuring out like the right settings to put things on. But what I learned is a lot of the manufacturers of like the kilns and the wheels and everything, a lot of them are small, like family-owned companies themselves. So if you end up with an Olympic kiln, call Olympic Kilns. You're going to talk to one of two people, and they're going to be the people putting your kiln together. You know, they're going to tell you what you need to know. They're going to like be able to help you. If you call, you know, somebody, it was either, I think it was Brent. Well, like one of the very first wheels that I had was a used wheel, and it needed a new foot pedal. And so all I had to do was like buy a new foot pedal and figure out how to put it back together. And I called the people, and they're like, oh yes, this is exactly how you do it. This is what you need for that model, because they're the ones putting them together there. You know, so it is still relatively a small community with a lot of the manufacturers. A lot of the stuff is like, we may be only one generation out from the original starters of the company, so you know, it's like if you call, like my kiln has a Bartlett controller on it, which is a lot of the if you get a computerized control kiln, they're going to have Bartlett controllers, and if you call with a question, you're going to talk to Mr. Bartlett. Not going to be some, you know, just random call center. Oh no, they sold the studio building and they had to shut down all the kilns or for 2 months, and all of your stuff had to be driven back and forth. Like, did they move, or was it or were they able to move? And you may have said it already. I don't know. Yeah, there's a big stink going on right now because Kemper tools, which if I'm sure a lot of the tools you use are Kemper. It's like the brand name for ceramic tools. They were wanting to retire, and they were trying to sell the business along with their factory where they manufacture all the tools. So a lot of wooden tools with metal tips, and somehow, like, there was a clause, I guess, where someone was able to buy the building but not the business. So someone bought the building and was gonna tell them they had to move out, and so they were I think they were just gonna, like, shut it down. But I think somebody has stepped in to buy the business. It's out of a community college, so they sold their secondary building where you were, and then it's being moved to the main campus, which is only like 3 minutes down the road. But that's still a lot of, like, logistics and moving and making and getting things hooked back up. Yeah. So now you've just got a stockpile of dried greenware. Yeah, I've got someone who's been coming in, has been, like, renting kiln space here because they took a class and that ended, for the semester at a local university, and they've just been but they had kept making stuff at home, so they've just been bringing in boxes of stuff when they get it ready to fire. All right, let me take a phone call. I'll be right back. Here we go. Right, yeah, you're always gonna like be paying for somebody else's kiln versus waiting if you have a resource you know is gonna open back up. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, the experience I've had around here is like I don't even do classes anymore, but like when we first got the building, I thought of doing that. I kind of thought, oh, I could have a community studio here and offer that to people. But where we are at, see, we're out in the middle of nowhere, and so people here were more likely to come in, maybe take a few classes, and then instead of come in and rent space, everybody here has so much space and shed space and garage space or whatever, they just get their own and set up their own studio. So it's like, if I wanted to like make that part of my business, I would need to be in a bigger area where it's more advantageous for people to, you know, rent out space somewhere else for their studio rather than have it at home. Your class is 2 months long with open studio time, doesn't charge for studio glazes. You get a 25-pound bag of clay, and it's $250, which is a steal. Yeah, that's what the place in Nashville where I get all my supplies from, I think they're like $225, $250, and then like you buy your tools and your clay from them, whatever you want to use. So it's like $225 plus supplies. But I'm pretty sure you get to use their studio glazes, unless you know the studio glazes. Then if you wanted something else, you would purchase it. While glazing your stuff would cost you about $200 for both the bisque and the glaze firing if you went for a kiln chair. Gotcha. Like when they open back up, they're gonna be like running the kilns nonstop, aren't they? Because I'm sure you're not the only one who's been like building up an inventory. Oops, missed a spot. Yeah, they've got 3 of the big ovals. think we might have enough to get all these done. Enough glaze. In a few minutes, I'll probably go try to open up the kiln. Or, you know, it's open, or I mean, start emptying out the kiln so we can do our kiln opening before I take a lunch break. Missed the spot. So I think I'll give myself about 10 minutes. I'll see how many more of these I have to glaze. And then I think I'll do a kiln opening. So we'll try to do a kiln opening at 12:30. Here's one of our D20s. We'll try to get some of that make sure I get all the glaze inside the little nooks and crannies and into the corners. The insides of the numbers sometimes don't fill in, so I try to do that with a little bit of thinner stuff beforehand, like that. There we go. Now we got it. Alright, these will be our last two. Or at least before I load the kiln, or unload the kiln. We'll see how many mugs we've done so far. We've got all the ones over here, and then we'll swerve around to all the ones over here. There's all the mugs we've done. Let me fix that. There we go. Now I'm going to move my camera over to the kiln, and then I will meet you back over there in just a minute. So we'll be right back. All right, let's see. If this works. There we go. We're not completely centered. There we go, we can do that. How about that? Trying to get rid of that thing in the center. Wait, there it is. There we go. Now that's better. Now you can see everything. So the color that's on the top there, you see one red, one bloody, like what we were doing today. You'll see some of the misty forest, and the majority of them are the sweet pea. So they're green on the inside and then blue and purple on the outside. So I'm going to go over there and kind of move something around to make sure the camera's not frozen. and then I'll come back and we'll start getting things out. And this one, let's see, it's at 130, so it's not like gonna be very warm. So we'll do that. Yay, it works. Okay, here we go. So we've got 4 layers in the kiln, and you were talking about the ovals. This is an Olympic oval, Olympic brand kiln oval. So this is one of the 10-ounce mugs, one of the Green Dragon Inn mugs, and then we have the bigger mugs, the 20-ounce mugs, like what I've been working on here. This one is a Warlock. A lot of these are gaming themed or pop culture themed. We have a Hogwarts, Hoggy Hogwarts. This is the Sweet Pea, and it's actually like a lot more green than blue, which tells me that the glaze was really thick. Like there's a little bit of blue at the bottom where it's thinner. So the next batch I do, I'll remember that. But we have our bards, and if we the As You Wish, we have our Princess Bride themed pieces. And if we have any fans of the ACOTAR, the A Court of Thorn and Roses by Sarah J. Maas, I have this one is from that theme. It's the Soriel's Tea Room, where hot tea is spilled. Here's one of our D10 mugs. We should have some D20s in here too. And, of course, a flying pig. I've been trying to do some of these as I do every color. I don't know if you can see the right side of the kiln here. We have more of the 10-ounce mugs, more of the Green Dragon Inn. And I make these in the 10-ounce. Like, you can order them in any size, but I make them specifically in the 10-ounce size because the Prancing Pony is the it's the human inn where they meet and where the ale comes in pints. And the Green Dragon is the Hobbit Inn, so the Green Dragon mugs are Hobbit-sized, where the Prancing Pony is human-sized. Here we go. So these shelves are not heavy, but they are just a little bit awkward, especially when they're warm. And we got our stilts here. Ooh, I don't know if something fell in that, or is it just a piece of glaze? Now, the further down in the kiln we get, the warmer the pots are going to be. I don't know that I'll need to use gloves for any of these, but they are getting a bit warmer. So I'm going to kind of test it before I just grab them. I think that's just glaze. But I saw like a dark spot on the inside of that. I don't know if you can see it. I can. Yeah, it's just like shiny. I think it's just like a dark spot just got dropped inside. More of the Sweet Pea. we've got a couple of the D20s in here. That turned out good. I see another one here. They're warm on the bottom. Like, I can touch the rims, but they're much warmer on the bottom, which, because they're sitting on the shelf here. I may have to use gloves to get the shelf out. Because it's warmer, because the air temperature is what is controlled by the thermocouples tell me what the air temperature is, but the pots and the shelves and the furniture are going to be a lot warmer, because that's what ceramics does. That's what the clay is supposed to do. It's supposed to retain heat, so they will always be a little bit warmer than the air temperature. Ooh, and these over here are even warmer. See, I think I can... Let's be quick. Without breaking anything. So I'll need gloves to get the rest of this out, and then I'll check chat. Now, I don't necessarily need the fuzzy gloves, I just need some leather palms. Here we go. And I gave that one a little bit of a tap, if you could see, because there was two stilts stacked over here, and I wanted to make sure nothing was stuck to the shelf. The last thing I need is projectiles flying around in the kiln. Here we go. We got lots of green. That's what I thought was in here. Or I thought I'd done green at some... Oh, of course, now we have an ad break. Your mugs are still heavy enough to be weapons, so that's something you're working on improving. Oh, yes. Well, if you've seen me throwing, then you know I throw on the tiles so that I don't have to leave the bottoms very thick. So if you get to the point where you can throw them thin, then you don't even have to worry about trimming or getting them off the wheel. You can just leave them till they dry a bit. So I'll get the stilts out of here since I know we're on an ad break. We'll go ahead and get these out. But this color is the Misty Forest. And it is it's the light green over the dark green. So let's see, what do we have? We have a Harry Potter one. We have Accio Coffee. We have a Green Ranger. Lord of the Rings. Not all those who wander are lost. Same thing. We have, ooh, that's a nice D20. That's really nice. We have a Lallybrock Wool Company for any Outlander fans. And over here we have some stamina, because I know we could all use more stamina. Now these end up having some bubbles sometimes because if you can see like on the inside the bubble there, like I might refire that, but like I might not too because it's glossy, it's glazed. It's just what happens with this glaze, the way it runs is it bubbles up a lot. So that's just where there was a really big bubble and it's glazed. It just some of the color, green color popped through and caused a bubble, or the dark green popped through and caused a bubble. If I can get all these off of here, we'll get to the last layer. Oof. And see what's down here. I think we've got some more of the stamina mugs. Yep. And one solid black mug. We were actually glazing some more of these, so this is what it will look like. This is the I solemnly swear I'm up to no good, and then the mischief managed, the solid black that we've been applying this morning. That's what it looks like if it was just by itself. Go check on chat for a second, get something to drink. You like the sweet pea? Yes, I do too. It is one of my favorites because it is all my favorite colors. Green, blue, and purple. So we got 4 layers in here, roughly 100 mugs, maybe a few more since some of them were small, but that's the average. If I can fit 25 on a layer. Did we do it this time? Let's see. $23. Okay, this one only had 23. And I know I've got the stamina mugs here. I know the health mugs are in another kiln that's cooling down. And then I'll put the mana mugs in today. So we will have all of those. There we go. That, knock on wood, unless I missed something, that was a successful kiln opening. That was a, there were no claytalities there. So that's pretty good, because like no matter how much sometimes we check and double check, sometimes there might still be like a little crack or something that comes out. But that one looked pretty good. A good kiln unloading. And so I will continue after I take a break. I will continue to layer colors on these and then put them back in the kiln so that tomorrow we can do another kiln opening. It's easier to do the kiln openings during the day than when, like, sometimes I get into a cycle of unloading the kiln at 11 o'clock at night. And so by that point I'm like, I just need to get this done. And so I don't usually stream it, but it's easier to do them during the day. So hopefully I will get to see y'all again tomorrow morning so we can do another kiln opening and do some more glazing and play Kiln Tetris again. So guys, I think I'm gonna get something to drink and cool down a bit, and then get back to work. But I will see y'all later. Thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna see who all's on right now. Chris is on, so we're gonna go watch Seanad Bush. See what he's working on. He is doing sculpting. He's a very, very good sculptor. If y'all don't know Chris, then please give him a follow. We're gonna start this raid. Kit, thank you very much, and thank you for watching. Guys, I will see y'all later. Hopefully I'll see y'all tomorrow. Have a good rest of your day. And again, thank you for watching. Here we go.